Hello everyone and welcome again to the Arma Attack YouTube channel. Here in this video we're gonna feature the new shotgun. We're gonna try to answer a very simple question: how good is the Polyphemus in terms of damage, range and one-on-ones, survivability that it offers, and some tips and tricks for optimal performance. Now if we look more closely at the setup, we can see that we have a Goliath at level 7 and we have the new shotgun, the Polyphemus, on also level 7, which is able to do 30% more damage, more or less, than the Goliaths. Now in the first scene here, we're gonna see how this setup will perform in one-on-one. We can see here a creeper with the full HP and we're coming head on to that enemy, and you see here that the damage output is crazy, especially when you are close enough, and make sure that every hit counts. Now, one thing that this setup can do very well, especially with the new shotgun, is that you can attack enemy snipers. You can just go straight to the sniper, jump onto him from a very unexpected place, and just finish him off. You will be able to finish at least half of the fully maxed character. Other than this, you're gonna have to take some gamble whether you can finish him off in one go or not. I was lucky on this encounter, and here with the amount of distance that is between us, I think I got very lucky. Here on the other hand, because the Genesis is so large, I can start shooting from early on, from a distance, relatively larger distance. Here also you can see that because you have to get so close to the enemy and the encounter lasts for a bit long, you're going to be exposed to unnecessary firepower, and as a result you might lose the robot. Looking at the next sequence, here you'll be able to surprise the enemies with your attack, and you can also instantly hide into safety because you have the double jump. You can wait for them until you regenerate your firepower and then finish them off. This is a very good working strategy that I advise you to use. Now another sequence is also when you have a decent also movement speed, you can just snack kills, and when you feel that you are in too much of trouble, you can just go and hide somewhere high. And this also often works. You can also surprise jump on the enemies, and with the massive firepower, you can dish enormous amount of damage on the enemies and still get the kill. But remember always to retreat back to safety, because you're not gonna last for long if you stayed in the middle of the open. Also, one thing, if this match is mostly with a lot of bots, with a lot of AIs. I recently hardly had any match with the good matchmaking, always full of AIs and barely no players at all. I think this is not a very good strategy to pull off this setup. I think that shotgun setups need the element of surprise, because you need to surprise the enemy with 100 meters range that you have. Otherwise, if you just walk to them in the open, you will be eliminated even before you get to the 100-meter mark. So this is something to keep in mind. And also, I'm here showing you longer sequences, so fasting forward a little bit the video so you don't get bored. And here you can see that the damage is okay, is good for one heavy shotgun and one medium shotgun, but it takes so much time for you to finish one enemy off, especially when they regenerate. For example, the Hermit or the Bastion, it's gonna be a lot of headache to finish one enemy off. On the other hand, if you make it your job to hunt down enemies that are low on HP or half on their HP, that would be a very good strategy to perform. And also you can very effectively surprise you can also very effectively surprise snipers, as you will see later in this video. Now this Genesis is a massive tank, so it can absorb almost all of the shotgun's particles that I have. And here, when I see that I'm getting myself into too much trouble, I just can fly into safety up there. Almost safety. I still got some hits from here and there, but now I regenerate some of my shield, and also I regenerated my ammo, and I was able, with a very good trick, to finish him off. Fasting forward for you, and I see also the same player. You see, because the Genesis is so bulky, I was able to dish enormous amount of damage from far away. Well, 100 meter, almost 100 meter for a shotgun is really far away. And this will not be possible with skinny robots or skinny characters, like for example the Icarus or the Paladin. Also with this tank Spotlight, yes, you can see that it is able to absorb most of the damage that I'm doing. So this is something to keep in mind. Here also with some of the couple of AIs, one AI, so that you see that you are able to eliminate half of the Genesis in one burst of damage, and then you're gonna have to wait a little bit, reload, and then finish them off. But this is just to show you how much damage potential does this shotgun have. Here also against a Bastion, and arguably not very well leveled Bastion, against the Spitfire, you are able also to finish him off. And whenever you see that you are getting yourself into trouble, you can always jump into safety. Now making it a little bit faster, because most of these enemies were AIs, and I just wanted to see the damage potential that this weapon has. Doing some Icarus ult trick, making use of the movement speed, of the high movement speed that the Icarus has, and always jumping into safety with the same technique. Also saw the same pool player, had only Bastions, and I was annoying enough to just was very annoying to that enemy. Now another thing that this setup is able to do is to jump surprise the enemy. This is a very effective thing that this setup can do very well. Here you don't even have to go to the ramp, you can just jump and surprise the enemy with the enormous firepower that you have. Passing forward a little bit. And also you have a burst damage like a Hermit. You have to consider this, that you are no longer an Imperial in terms of damage, but you have the burst damage of a Hermit. Not even Hermit can do this amount of damage in this amount of time. And arguably even better than the Hermit in terms of the amount of damage that you can dish in a couple of seconds, especially when you have a first layer of protection, which is the shield. And it's also a plus to this setup, the way that you can surprise the enemy with the jump, and you can just shortcut distances. Now the Odalisk is also a very powerful enemy. Here I went into safety. It's something that you have to keep in mind, that you always need some time to regenerate your ammo. So always plan that after doing the first round of damage, you're gonna have to take cover, reload your ammo for a little bit, and then come back and finish the enemy off. Here I was able to do some damage, and I was looking for a cover. This was an AI, so I got lucky that he was distracted. And here, after generating the shield, generating the ammo, I was able to take him out, finish him off. Here is the old Genesis. I'm able to surprise him with this jump full on ammo, and I was greedy a little bit, tried to snack the whole of that kill, but didn't work. Here, making fast forward for you, so you don't have to get bored. And now, also Creeper was able to dish enormous amount of damage, reloaded, and then from far away I was able to finish him off. Also showing you that, yeah, sometimes it's really not the optimal strategy to brawl against the enemy. You're not going to be able to brawl like, for example, the Shroud Goliath, but absolutely you're going to be able to have fun, to surprise the enemies. And I don't think that this is a very good strategy to have this shotgun on the Paladin, for example, or the Architect, because I really do think that you're not going to be able to surprise the enemy in any way with the Paladin or with the Architect. There's nothing that you can do to just surprise the enemy and jump to them on a 100 meters range. And this is something that you only can do with the, for example, the Shroud, with the stealth ability that you have, and also with this setup, with this kind of jumps in some maps, especially on this new map. You are able to utilize these jumps in a very effective way, and you can just deliver a huge amount of damage. Now, most of the games that I'm getting are all with AIs, so it's a little bit frustrating, but we understand that this is an early phase of the game, and with 100k players, you don't always expect to find someone to join your game. Otherwise, the matchmaking will take like 5 minutes, and we absolutely don't want this. So I think this is a reasonable price to pay, especially at this early stage of the game's development. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one, and bye bye.